Hey there, and welcome to the Event Crushed podcast. Each week, we'll be chatting about all things wedding industry, entrepreneurship, and how to crush it in life and business. I'm so glad you're here. Now, let's dive into this week's episode. Hello there, and welcome back to the Event Crushed podcast. Today's episode is going to be a little bit different because I just want to share a recent experience that I had in the hopes that it will protect somebody from having a similar experience. So if you follow me on my main Event Crush Instagram page, you may have seen that I was hacked last week. And thankfully, I was able to get back in roughly 2 hours. So pretty darn quick. I know that not everyone is that lucky to get back in so quickly. So I do feel very, very blessed to have been able to recover my account and that there was minimal damage done overall. I have heard so many stories since this happened to me. And even before, I'd definitely heard stories too of people's accounts getting hacked and compromised and them never getting access to it again, which is just mind-blowing to me. And I have learned so much from this experience and my eyes are truly opened. So I just wanted to share what happened to me, what you can do to prevent this from happening to you, and just some tips and advice to keep your Instagram and your social media accounts secure, because this can happen to anybody. If this happened to me, and I feel like I am a very technologically competent person, I feel like I'm really good at sniffing out scams and knowing when things are a scam and when it's legit. And I'm not usually one to fall for things like this. So I'm going to tell you exactly what happened to me because I know exactly how I was hacked. I knew the moment that my account had been hacked. Like, it all happened in real time right before my eyes, and it's 100% my fault. And it was 100% preventable, which is, again, why I want to share this to hopefully just spread awareness. Scammers are getting so good. It's scary. It's scary out there. They are just coming up with new things constantly. And oh my gosh. So I'm just going to get into it because I'm probably going to get fired up at some point because this whole experience has just, again, it's really opened my eyes to the possibilities and to the craziness of people out there and the extent that people will go to get your account information. And we need to be really vigilant to protect ourselves because for wedding pros, I know so many of us use Instagram and social media to market our businesses, to grow our businesses, to connect and build relationships with other business owners. We use it to network. We use it also to, stay in touch with family and loved ones. And for me, this was honestly scary because my business account is connected to my other personal account. I have so many Instagram accounts, you guys. I have one for my networking group. I have one for the wedding showcase that I do. My personal account, my old personal account. I also I do social media for another local business. And so all of these accounts are connected. And so I was honestly terrified that I was going to lose all of my personal, access to my personal photos of my kids that I've had for years. And all of these memories, I just saw it all just vanishing before my eyes. So that was my biggest fear. As far as my business account, yes, that would have really, really sucked. But I believe that I could have built it back up. And thankfully, I have my Event Crushed account. And so kind of using that to help me grow it again, like it could have been done, but nobody wants to do that. Nobody wants to have to start at ground zero and rebuild their entire account. So hopefully hearing this will help you to avoid ever being in that situation. Let's get into it. Let's talk about what happened. Here's kind of the play-by-play of what happened, okay? So I have a friend in the industry. She has come to my networking events. She's super sweet. She's great. she messaged me one day from her business page and she was like, hey, I'm starting this new business. Would you be willing to support me? And I was like, yeah, of course. And then she asked me for my phone number. And I was like, okay, sure. So I gave her my phone number. The next thing that happens is she sends me a text message a while later and she's like, hey, let me know when you got this. And I was like, okay, yeah, I got it. And I will admit, like, it did feel a little funny. And I actually did go check out her Instagram page to make sure that nothing was fishy. She actually had recently posted a selfie, or so I thought, and her account looked legit. There was no weird, like, red flags. And I was like, okay, I guess it's her. It's just, the communication felt a little funny, but nothing that was so alarming that I was like, this is a scam or anything like that. Then she goes, I'm going to send you a link to my new page. Let me know when you get it. And I said, okay. And then I get this text from a different number and it's an Instagram link. And I thought, like, my thought process was maybe she's using some kind of third-party app to, I don't know. I thought she was like, yeah, using some kind of third-party app to handle her like new business page or something. So that's why it like came from a different phone number. I don't know. I somehow justified it in my head. And so I see the link and it's like, when you can tell it's like an Instagram URL. So I could tell, I thought it was going to go to her Instagram business page. So I clicked on it and it just opened up Instagram, like my Instagram. And I was like, huh. And so I told her, I was like, I clicked the link, but it just took me to my Instagram homepage. She was like, let me look into that. That's weird. Can you send me that link? And I said, okay, sure. Which was to my detriment because once I copied that link and sent it to her, and I'm in Instagram, like I had opened it up, after that to check something. And suddenly a window pops up. You've been logged out. And I swear, I almost instantly realized what was happening. I was like, oh my gosh, what have I done? So I start, kind of panicking. I go to the login page. I try to log in. I think at first I was able to get back in because they hadn't changed my password yet. So I did get back in. And then I got another notification. You've been logged out. This happened a time or two before I couldn't get back in anymore. They had changed my password. And I texted this number and I said, oh, shoot. Did you just hack me? And they go, no. But of course, I am smart enough to know. So if you are not totally following what happened here, let me spell it out for you. So basically, once this person had my phone number, and then I had responded and I was in communication with them, they were waiting for me to be texting back and forth with them. Once I was responding and texting back and forth with them, they went into Instagram and they did forgot password. They put in my phone number. So then when she's like, oh, I'm going to send you the link, that was Instagram sending me a login link. Because Instagram does have a way where you can request a special login link and all you have to do is just click it from your phone number. So Instagram messaged me my own login. I clicked it, not realizing what it was. And of course I was already logged in. So it just opened Instagram. I proceeded to copy that special login link and sent it to the hacker who, as soon as they clicked it, they were in my account. So I 100% did this to myself. And now looking back, I can see how I should have been a lot more vigilant and not just so quickly to give this information to a person whose number I didn't already have saved in my phone. I just so blindly was like, yeah, I'll support your business. So from there, this hacker is now in my account and I am locked out of my account, all of my accounts, mind you. And so this is when I start freaking out. Everything happened so fast. One of the things that they did was they posted a picture on my feed and they pinned it and it was of this Mercedes. I guess it's called a G-Wagon because I had people calling me like, did you get a G-Wagon? So they posted this picture and they said, thank God and all this stuff about this new vehicle that they were able to get. And honestly, there were like, I was just cracking up because there were several comments on this post, congratulating me and, oh my gosh, you deserve it, Becky. And I just thought it was so funny that people, just believed it, but it was on my account and you would, you know what I mean? Like you would believe it. And so I can totally see why people thought it was legit. And then the next thing they did, oh, and also, so in that caption, I think it said something, or maybe it wasn't in that caption, but they shared it to stories. And then from there, they shared all these stories and they even took a picture of me from my own stories and reshared that to make it look like it was really me posting. Like they're so sneaky. And they tagged this guy's account and they said, follow this guy and he can teach you all about investing your money so that you can get, a car like this, and just super weird. So it was very apparent to people that my account had been hacked. So at that point, I started getting texts, phone calls, emails, blowing up my phone about, the fact that, hey, I think your account is hacked. And the other thing they did is this hacker started messaging everybody on my friends list. And they were almost identical to that message that I had received from my friend, or who, I thought it had been my friend. And they said it was like 2 or 3 different versions of it. So it wasn't all the same thing. One of them said, hey, I'm starting this new interior design studio. Would you support my new page? One of them said, I'm starting a photo studio. Would you support my new page? So like, honestly, both of these things are not that outside of the realm of possibility for me. I have been known to start several businesses. And so it wouldn't be that surprising or weird for me to start something like this. Once I got my account back later, I was going back through messages and so many people were like, yeah, of course. And so only a handful, just because they didn't have that much time, only a handful got to the point of actually giving their phone number. But some people did give their phone number. And to my knowledge, it didn't, progress. Like nobody gave their phone number and then sent the link to this person. So I don't think anyone else got hacked from my friends list. So I'm very grateful for that. I think honestly, like if it would have gone on longer, I don't know what could have happened, but I am very grateful that it didn't get to that point. One thing here that I want to share is that in my panic of wanting to get my account back, I actually Googled Meta account hacked, what to do or help or something. And I was on my phone and there's, the search results pop up and there were some sponsored results, which now that I think about it, that's weird. In the moment, I didn't really think anything of it. It just said, it was like a Facebook link and it said, call this number if your account is compromised. And I was like, oh, thank goodness, there's a phone number I can call. So I clicked on the phone number to call and a man answers the phone and it was weird. I mean, it was weird, but it took me a second to fully understand what was happening. But even the way he answered the phone, it just wasn't like super professional. I don't know. But he's like, how can I help you? What's going on? And so I start telling him like, my account's been hacked. I can't get back in. What can I do? And he says, or he's asking me questions. What's your email address? But as we were talking, I kind of realized like, wait, how do I know that you are with Meta? And he was like, oh, don't worry. I'm going to send you this confirmation email in just a minute. And I was like, okay. And then the next thing he asked me to do, which was the huge red flag, is he goes, I need you to go to the App Store and download this app. And this is how we're going to get your account back. And I was like, okay. So I, at this point, was kind of feeling weird about it, but I was like, okay, I'll search for the name of it. So I searched for the app, which unfortunately, I cannot remember. And I tried to go into like my App Store history to see if I could find my search and I could not find it. So I don't remember what it's called. I'm going to look it up and I'll put it in the show notes if I can find it. But I mean, just to know, to avoid it. But when I found the app, I clicked on it. I saw that it had hundreds of 1-star reviews, which that's what really tipped me off. So I started clicking into the reviews and they were like, do not download this app. This is like a phishing scam that people use and they like prey on people who are saying that they can't get into their accounts. And then somehow I don't know how it works exactly, but they probably have you like put your information into this app and then they get it. And then I don't know, but definitely don't download any apps that somebody tells you to. And don't be clicking any sponsored phone numbers when you Google help with your account. That's the thing that truly was so upsetting to me, was that I was searching for help with this problem with getting hacked. And I ended up talking to somebody who was like also a hacker. And I was like, how is this happening? Like, I'm on the phone with a hacker telling him about my hacker problems. And I just could not believe that. The fact that, this is a small tangent, but the fact that scammers can pay money to Google to have a sponsored ad for their scam is just beyond me. Like, doesn't Google look into, don't they have to approve ads? I'm still like shook by that. Like, just the fact that I Googled this thing and like the top result was a sponsored scam. I feel like there needs to be a better process for reviewing ads and approving them. I don't know how that would have gotten approved. Anyways, that's something that was very alarming. So don't do what I did. So after that, I was just going into the forgot password, putting in my phone number, and then it would say, we're going to send you a code. And then I would get the code. So I could tell that my phone number was still on the account, which is great. So then I would receive the code and I would put the code in and it would say incorrect code. And that kept happening over and over. Like, I would just follow those steps again and again, and it just kept saying incorrect code, which was very strange. So I don't know exactly how that worked. I don't know if somehow they were like blocking, like, I don't know. That part I am really unsure of. Like, if they were aware that I was doing forgot password and then they were somehow like making the code not work. I don't know how they would do that. So that was very strange. In my Google searching and everything, I found a page, an Instagram kind of a help page, and it was what to do if your account gets hacked. And basically, so this is the main thing I want to share with you. If your account does get hacked, there is a link to click that is basically the forgot password page, but you need to open it not in the app. You need to open it in a browser on your phone or on your desktop and put in your phone number and do it that way. I don't know why that was different, but once I did it that way, I got the code again. And when I put in the code, it worked. Once I was in, it asked me, it could definitely tell that there was some fishy stuff going on. I could see that like all these other email addresses and weird stuff had been added to my account. They also added other accounts to my account, which was alarming. I could just see like bots, like they were weird email addresses, just very bizarre stuff. And basically it asked me some security questions and I was able to remove all of that. However, there were a bunch of things they did that I didn't realize until like a few days later. They had blocked a bunch of people. They'd restricted a bunch of people. They had messaged many of my followers. They also had changed my birthday. Like, they had just changed some weird stuff in the settings that I wouldn't have even realized. And so it's definitely been a little bit of damage control, just going back in and fixing all of that. But again, I am extremely lucky that I did get in so early with minimal damage. And I'm not sure, like, my biggest question is when hackers get in and then the original account owner can't get back in. I'm wondering, like, why is that? Because I don't think these people were able to remove my phone number, and that's the reason I was able to get back in. So maybe it's a time thing. Maybe they would have been able to remove my phone number. Like, if I didn't realize what was going on, maybe. But since I was well aware of what was happening and I was trying to get back in so quickly, maybe that's what allowed me to get back in. I don't know. I still have a lot of questions because I know that people have lost access to their accounts and never gained it back. And I don't know. So, I mean, as long as you have, I would say it's extremely important to have your Instagram account connected to your phone number so that if this kind of thing happens, you get locked out of your account, it'll text you a code to be able to get back in. I'm assuming most people have, or maybe you have to have a phone number associated with your account. I'm assuming that's a given. But if not, go in and just make sure whatever phone number is associated with your account is your phone number. That's the number one thing. And these things I'm going to share now are things that I am implementing and that I have done since this situation. So two-factor authentication. I hate it. Honestly, I don't like doing it for a lot of websites just because it's like, oh, it's an extra step. But in the grand scheme of things, if it's going to protect my information and keep me safe online, it is so worth it. And my husband is all about two-factor authentication. He does it for everything. And I've always just been like, oh, is it really necessary? But guys, it is necessary, especially for a website is important as Instagram, where you have your portfolio, you have your contacts, you potentially have inquiries coming through there. It is, like I said, for a lot of wedding pros, a huge marketing channel. And this, I would like to say, this is a reminder as to why Instagram should not be your only marketing channel. Because what if you do get hacked? What if you don't get your account back? Are you going to lose all of your business? Gosh, I hope not. That would be awful. So make sure that you are working on other things like SEO so that if Instagram goes down, people can still find you on Google. All right, so two-factor authentication is a must. I turned that on. Another thing that I highly, highly recommend, and this is not new for me, I've been doing this for a long time, and it still to this day blows my mind when I hear people struggle with this. But basically, you hopefully have a password manager like 1Password. That's the one that we use. We used to use LastPass and we had some issues, so we switched. So we use 1Password. I'll link it in the show notes. It is fan-freaking-tastic. If you've ever found yourself like, oh, what's my password for this? I can't remember. Constantly having to do forgot password, change your password. No, nobody should be living that way, in my opinion. Not to call out my mom, but my mom is like the prime example of having a million different passwords and never remembering them and constantly having to like create new accounts or, change your password all the time. I've been trying forever to get her on a password manager because it's a game changer. You have your one master password and everything's protected. So it is very secure. But then you have all of your other passwords saved in this password manager, and you can have the app I have the app on my phone and it's on my desktop. So everything talks to each other. Everything's connected. The reason right now that I'm bringing this up is because when you make a new password for a website, we can't just be using these simple passwords anymore, like the name of your dog and a number and an exclamation point. Like that's not cutting it anymore. You need to go into your password manager and have it create a strong password for you. And this will be like something you could never memorize. It's like, letters, characters, uppercase, lowercase, and it's long. No hackers can be able to guess that or figure that out. So we need to be using really, really strong passwords, and we need to be saving them in a password manager. Highly, highly recommend it. Of course, this is a given, but if somebody sends you a link from a number that you don't know, or if there's any chance that, that account has been compromised, never, ever, ever click on links, or definitely never, ever, ever copy and paste a link. You know what the worst part is? I would love to leave this part out because it's real embarrassing, but the link that was originally sent from Instagram, it said, let me see if I can find it. Okay, so looking at the original text that the person had said, hey, I sent you this link. So it says Instagram link, and then it's the URL, it's ig.me, blah, blah, blah. And then it says, don't share it. And I somehow didn't notice it or didn't think anything of it. And I was just willing, again, to copy and paste it and send it to this person. I am aware that this is 100% preventable and my mistake. But if I could be in this situation, like anyone could be in this situation. I know I probably sound like an idiot and it's embarrassing to share this whole story, but if it can protect one person from having this happen, it's so worth it. I'm willing to sound like an idiot to prevent other people getting scammed and hacked and losing their accounts. So it's all worth it. All right. So I have a couple more things to share. Make sure to also review your login activity. There is a way in Instagram where you can see like where you're logged in, like locations and when you've logged in. And it's definitely a good idea to take a look at that every now and then and just make sure that nothing looks weird or fishy. The last thing that I did that I wanted to share is I went ahead and I signed up for Meta Verified. I was kind of on the fence about it, but when I looked into it, it was a little more affordable than I thought it was. I thought it was $20 a month. It's $14.99 a month. And all the different things that is included, I was like, okay, after this experience, I don't ever want to go through that again. This is probably a good call. And so I went ahead and signed up for it. So now I have the little blue check mark. I mean, that's not really why I got it, but hey, I'll take it. And if something does happen again with my account, if it is compromised, I actually can reach a person in that situation. So for the average person, like if your account gets hacked, if these things happen, like there is no phone number to call. Trust me, I asked people who I know, their accounts have been hacked. I did a deep dive into like what to do. There really is no like customer service line to call. And I think that that's ridiculous, but it is what it is. But with Meta Verified, supposedly, from what I read about what I'm getting, there is a way to communicate directly with a human should something like this arise again, and they would be able to get in and secure my account. So that just gives me peace of mind. So if you are worried, like some of the people that I've talked to over this last several days are like, oh my gosh, this is my biggest nightmare. Oh my gosh, I'm so scared about this happening. Like you might consider signing up and paying $15 a month just for the peace of mind to know that if something does happen, you'll be in good hands. It's just peace of mind. So that's my 2 thoughts on Meta Verified. I'm going to try it out. I'll let you know how the experience is. They also have impersonation protection. If you're a bigger account and somebody is making like fake pages that look like yours, they do have impersonation protection, which is great. All right. So final thoughts in wrapping up. I really just want to reiterate that this can happen to anyone. This was one very specific scam, but there are so many scams. Constantly new ones. Oh, one of my couples shared a video with me, and it was basically, this isn't necessarily business related, but just on a personal front, there are now ways for callers to like make their caller ID look like one of your family members. This particular scam was to the husband of this woman, and it had her phone number and her photo and her name. So the husband answered it thinking it was, his wife, and it wasn't. The person on the other end was somebody saying he had his wife hostage and that he was going to shoot her if he didn't pay a bunch of money and all this stuff. And of course, it was totally fake and his wife was fine. But they were able to make their caller ID look like her, which is insane. It's called spoofing, I believe. So they're just getting so freaking sophisticated. So we just really need to be, again, on guard and protecting ourselves however we can online. This is something that we will have to teach the next generation coming up too. I mean, it's wild out there. So I just want everyone to be safe and to protect yourselves and just be aware of all the various scams that are happening at any given time. And don't wait like I did. Like I hadn't done any of the things to protect myself. I hadn't done 2-factor authentication. I hadn't done the Meta Verified. I probably hadn't changed my password in a long time. I was just kind of not in a great spot. Think about it though. If I would have had 2-factor authentication on, I don't think that link would have let them in automatically. So that is something to think about. And I would recommend just going in and doing an audit of your account and just checking your safety and security in your social media and just seeing if you can do anything to make it a little bit stronger, get a better password, turn on the 2-factor, and anything else that could protect yourself and prevent a situation like this. And definitely if you don't have a password manager, get one. All right. So if you have any questions about this experience that I've had, I would love to hear from you. Feel free to shoot me a DM on Instagram, or you can email me at becky@eventcrush.com. share this episode with a friend if you have, if you have business friends who you think could benefit from learning a little bit about how to protect themselves and just learning a crazy story about what not to do. Please consider sharing this with a friend. And thanks for tuning in today. I hope that my cautionary tale will just, again, if this will help protect one person, then it is so, so, so worth it. Stay safe out there. And I'm here if you ever have questions or need anything at all. All right. Take care, my friends. We will be back here next week. I have an awesome interview coming your way. All right. Bye. Thank you so much for tuning in to this week's episode of the Event Crushed podcast. I hope you found value in this episode, and if you did, please consider sharing it with a wedding industry friend. We also hope you'll consider leaving a rating or review for the show to help other listeners find it. This podcast is edited and produced by Ace Sound Design. If you're looking to elevate your audio experience, their info can be found in the show description. As always, thank you for listening, and please connect with us on Instagram if you haven't already. Now get out there and crush it.